What about their graduation?
Again, that's another area that we've talked about as far as a possibility, but it would occur probably at some time in the fall, along with our 5th grade and maybe 8th grade graduation as well. It'll depend again on whether we're allowed to open, but no major event are we planning not to do. We all recognize up here that there are milestones in the children's lives and milestones in the family life. And so we are going to do as much as we can to get back and to return to normal, and how important those events are for all our children and for all our families as well.
What if we don't complete everything that school has sent to us? What do we need to do? Is this extra credit? Will incomplete grades be given? Speak to us about that.
We've had that discussion in Covington City Schools. Just actually had it yesterday. We would reach out to individual students or individual to families and see what was not completed, what assistance might be needed, and we would take it on a case-by-case basis. But we don't want anyone to have major learning gaps because of missing work. We've had discussions about how we enter all of this information to PowerSchool. There's a lot of things that we need to figure out as we move forward, but we would contact those students and those families. Mr. Cattell?
And I think we have to understand is that every class has standards of learning, objectives to accomplish. And so for Algebra 1, there may be 24 objectives. And so before a student can move into geometry or Algebra 2, they've got to have a pretty good understanding of those objectives as they move forward. And whether it goes from kindergarten all the way up through their senior, those objectives are there. And so, yes, we're ungraded, but we are also checking off to make sure that they have those competencies or objectives as they move forward. And so our staff is currently evaluating that student by student, like Ms. Snead Johnson said, and when the scheduling process is completed, which will not be finalized until the end of the school year this year, is that if those students don't have those objectives completed, then they possibly could be retained back in that classroom, or if we have 22 students that may not have completed that objective, they could be in one class and could start with those objectives and then start the new class after they finish those objectives. And so that will be worked out as we move forward. The other possibility would be to extend the school year 10 days next year to pick up some of the classes that have been missed. So, what we're saying is that all contingencies are being explored this time to make sure that our students are going to be where they need to be at some point next year before we move on.
When are Chromebooks due back in the schools as well as packets?
This again would be posted on our fact sheet when they're done. Each school is going to be a little bit different. I saw today, I think the high schools put out, which will be on the fact tomorrow, when their Chromebooks are going to be not collected. I think actually the high school
they're keeping them through the summer, except for seniors.
Yeah, except for seniors. They're keeping those through the summer. And so I would want you to go ahead and again, please check the fact page or also contact your building principal and they'll let you know when that needs to be done.
And we've talked about a date, 18th or 19th of May. We haven't finalized that date, but everything would be due at that date for Covington City students, pre-K through grade 12. And we again will be contacting families through School Messenger or on our website when we have made that final determination of when all things must be turned in for this end of the school year.
And for JRTC, May 19th is the day we're looking at for most of ours, seniors a little bit earlier to get everything finalized. But check with teachers individually with their programs.
What about a senior who has a military commitment and needs their diploma prior to graduations that have been suggested for July, and they need that diploma?
At that point, the diploma is actually done once the student finishes their work. And so at that point, we would award that diploma at that time and allow that student to move on. And so we're going to look at each situation. There may be others that are starting at the university level in the summertime as well. And so at that point, the graduation ceremony is just the formal ceremony. It doesn't stop us from providing diplomas prior to.
And that's similar in Covington City Schools. We've had that discussion as well with our CHS staff and guidance staff there. We would do the same thing for any youngster entering the military or a university program. Make sure they had what they needed, if they had completed what was required to meet those graduation requirements.
All right, what is the status of VHSL activities? Do we know if we're having any athletic activities this fall? What about tryouts?
As of right now, all Virginia High School League activities are canceled through the end of this school year. There's been no decision made on the fall. We'll have to see as that moves forward again, depending on which way we do if we open schools. That discussion occurred today a little bit that say we go to an A-B schedule where we are doing social distancing. How does that affect activities in athletics? And so these are areas that we will work through over the next several weeks before decisions are made on that. It's a sad situation. I talked to a baseball parent's mother who's a senior and missed out this year, and there are going to be some missed opportunities, and we'll do our best to eliminate as many of those as we can so they can be successful with that. I do know this, that the NCAA clearinghouse has adjusted their requirements for incoming freshmen. I would encourage you, if you have thoughts about attending a Division III or Division II or Division I university and playing in a sport, that you look at the NCAA clearinghouse webpage, and it will provide you with the new requirements, which have been a lot better.
And for Covington City Schools, that we still must follow those VHSL guidelines. I actually had a conference call with our CHS principal and AD and assistant AD today. We had those conversations. Our regions are meeting virtually. Our Pioneer District coaches and ADs are meeting virtually, and we are also exploring all those possibilities. Want to recognize those senior athletes who did not get to complete this season, and we're looking towards some way to celebrate their accomplishment and understand how sad this opportunity has been for them. So Covington City is exploring that as well.
I have several questions related to communication and finding out information. Are teachers expected to call students and families or email or both? And if, in particular for elementary students, if there are questions related to the student packets, how can they contact the teacher if the parent needs to reach out to the teacher?
Our teachers have emails, and the teachers can be emailed directly, and those emails are posted on our website. Our teachers have been given expectations of contacting our families by phone and try to reach out to them on a regular basis. If there's questions about students' packets, again, I would encourage you to email the child's teacher first, the principal, and if you don't get any results there, please contact the school board office at 965-1400. We want every student to be successful with what's in the packet, and we understand as we move forward with new learning that sometimes there are things that are not completely understood, and we would be glad to help in any way that we can.
And for us, it's pretty much the same. It's our expectation that our staff contact students and parents. Some are a little bit different. Some may be once or twice a week. Some may be every day, depending on the need of the student. And so if that's not happening, this is a community effort. All of us working together to make sure that our students are being provided what they need to be successful. If that's not happening, you contact the principal. If you don't get a response from the principal or the teacher within 24 hours, you contact the school board office. And at that time, you will get a response. And we will work with you to make sure that your child is provided what they needed to be successful.
And also at JRTC, we're working to make contact weekly. If there's any questions of any material, then definitely contact the teacher too. It just doesn't have to come in one direction. If you have issues, questions, concerns, please contact us. If you cannot reach them, contact our office, and then we can make sure we get the information to the teacher to contact you. So yeah, once a week is what we're looking to do.
And even though our buildings are closed and our staff is working 5 days a week, their normal hours, and so there's an expectation that they should be working either with students, doing lesson plans, assisting with new material, contacting parents, contacting students during that day.
Are teachers encouraged to utilize, example, Zoom in conducting classes for lecture and interaction?
The one thing that we weren't 100% prepared for, and I don't think anybody was in the country, was how to access and use multiple methods of virtual instruction, okay? And so yes, I have learned tremendously from watching our staff use Zoom, do reading books live, online, videotaping things, doing different lessons. And so yes, any kind of, and we're going to learn a lot from this, what works well, what doesn't work well. So yes, if I know at least 3 teachers are using Zoom with their classrooms, and hopefully that'll continue for more.
And in Covington schools, we explored all of those opportunities. We have not explored to the full extent all of these new learning modalities that are out there through technology today. We made the decision that we were not going to use Zoom because we weren't sure that we were fully prepared to use Zoom correctly. There are some concerns about security with using Zoom, and we decided to not do that at this point in time. But we know in Covington City Schools we need to do a lot to learn about the latest technology and how to provide online instruction, and that will be our focus as we move into the future.
And that has been the thing that, this is a bad time, but a good thing coming out of it is learning all these new things. And our teachers are getting creative with making videos of how to do a certain thing and stick it in the email and send it out or put it on the website. They're finding other ways of showing the students how to do and how to learn and communicate. So that is a positive out of this that we can learn for in the future. So hopefully we'll just continue to grow and learn. And my staff, I encourage them every time they find something new, share it with everybody else. It may work great for one person, maybe not the others, but at least they're communicating, putting it out there, and we find certain things that may work. I know my welding instructor found this like a student messenger. He paid $15 and he can do his own student messenger things specifically to his classes. And it shows who answered the phone, who went to the voicemail, who was busy. It shows exactly what students did or did not get the message. So that's just a new thing we never would have known before that we found out with that.
I saw a video that one of our teachers made, I believe it was Miss Phillips. We had some parents that were struggling with their children not wanting to do a lot of work at home. And so she posted a video about working with parents and how to get the children motivated. And of course she has 2 youngins in her household as well. So it's pretty neat. But like Mr. Spangler said and Ms. Snead Johnson, it's an area that we're going to learn from our staff. And we encourage our staff to be creative out there and try different things, and we'll see what works well and move forward with that.
And I would like to say that we've been very blessed in that the state superintendent and the workers at the Virginia Department of Education have been reaching out. PBS stations are now providing some content at regular times to promote SOL type of learning. Virtual Virginia, which is another online tool that we've used, is being expanded. So there are many very, very positive things coming out of this unfortunate situation. And also I'd like to applaud the Allegheny Highlands, Allegheny Regional Library. They are starting to do some partnerships with our elementary folks, and we perhaps will be partnering with those ladies and the Allegheny Foundation Education Coordinator, Diane Garcia, to provide some early learning opportunities through the Allegheny Highlands Regional Library in the very near future. So lots of things, good things are happening to try to promote learning in the Allegheny Highlands.
Okay, final question. When does all the student work need to be returned or completed?
Again, for us, it's individually by building, and so I would ask them to take a look at the fact sheet or again contact the principal. I know this, that that our tentative date, I think, is last school day is like May 20th. However, with this situation, there's really no end date. We can work with everybody right on through July if need be. So go ahead and work with your building principal, your child's principal, and child's teacher. And if there's an issue why things aren't getting completed, we can extend it. It is an opportunity for, or even students who fell behind during the third 9 weeks, if they want to do extra work to catch up. That's awesome.
And in Covington, we have talked about 2 different dates, May 18th and May 19th. We also might have to do something sooner with the seniors to make sure their work, so we will be reaching out through a school messenger call to let families know the drop dead date, but we will, that wasn't a good thing, when it's all due, but we will be considering each individual student's work on a case-by-case basis and can extend in some circumstances to make sure every student receives the instruction that they needed during this time period.
One other thing with the later graduations is that gives students who didn't think they had a possibility, they now have a possibility to go back and finish some work that they didn't finish earlier.
And for JRTC, same thing. We're looking to May 19th, a little earlier for seniors, but it depends where everybody are as to what may possibly happen.
Okay, any final?
Just have a few words to say. I would be remiss if I left out the members of the Allegheny County School Board and for their support, their leadership, and their direction, and also their encouragement to the administrative team and to our staff. It has been absolutely awesome for them for what they've done as far as the leadership goes, and we really appreciate that. I also want to thank you all, everybody, for participating this evening. Your comments and questions are important to all of us. We realize that the coronavirus has created many questions and concerns for students, parents, and staff. Allegheny County Public Schools administration, teachers, and staff have been actively engaged in addressing this situation. And as we move forward, our focus is a simple but very important one, and that's to ensure our students are prepared for the start of next school year. And we are going to work hard to make that happen. But we need your help. It's a community effort, all of us working together. Students, parents, staff, administrators. This is an unprecedented event, and our staff is going to work and continue to work hard, and they'll make adjustments needed. If it's not working for your student, then please let us know, and we'll make those adjustments. If you have a question or a concern or need assistance, please contact your child's teacher, your child's administrator, or call the school board office at 540-863-1800. We are all ready and available to assist as needed. Even with the best of planning, mistakes and errors are going to happen. Please be patient with us as we work together as a community to ensure our kids are provided with what they need to be successful. God bless, stay safe, wash your hands, stay home, and practice social distancing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you again for joining us this evening, and good night.
Good night. Thank you all.